Good afternoon, sunshines. Whitten John update from the bathroom. It's gonna be nice and echoey, but Whitten's bathing. He said that he was stinky butt and he wanted to take a bath, which is a big deal because he likes getting in the water now. Guys, we're just gonna talk about Whitty for a second. It is 3 months after his chemotherapy completed. We just had his endocrinology appointment. That, I don't really know. It's like a handle. It looks like it's for toilet paper, but it's in the bathtub. We live in a house built in the 60s. Not
Let's put toilet paper on it.
Let's not, because it'll get soaking wet. I think it's just a handle to make sure you don't slip. So anywho, little man just had his endocrinology appointment. Since this diagnosis, we haven't really had an endo appointment aside from like 2 times outside of the hospital. All your toys are right there, baby. See them all?
I want a human in there.
You want a human in there?
Yeah.
Well, I don't feel like.
Not a real human.
Okay, I'm not sure. Let's.
That's a toy human.
A toy human? Okay, find your Batman and do that first. This was probably a really bad idea. This might not be a full update. Let's just see what we can do here. Okay, your Batman's in there though, bud. So anyways, you guys, we just had like a real like second or third endo appointment, and the endocrinology, in case you guys don't know, Whit and John had a tumor in his pituitary, which is this little pea-sized organ right behind your eyes that controls all of your hormones, essentially. And when you have a tumor in there, there's no fixing it. When the tumor goes away, whatever was damaged in the pituitary generally is damaged forever. And they watch for people with pituitary malfunctions or hypopituitarism, learn that word, and underfunctioning pituitary to see what other hormones are hit. So we were going in to one, just like evaluate him, see where he's at. We'll be followed by endocrinology throughout his life, right? Especially through when he's 18, to see what hormones are affected and to make sure that he's staying safe. The good news is that when it comes to pituitary, there are fake hormones. So if you have pituitary problems, there's a fake hormone that you can take for everything. It's just kind of a pain in the ass, right? So I'll do his DI last. I'm going to do the other parts first. So yes, big boy. That's perfect. You guys ask questions. I love questions. This is helpful. So for his diabetes insipidus or his arginine vasopressin deficiency, that's going to be great. Make sure you stand back because that one's warm, warm, warm. Okay, hold on. Too warm. Too warm. Yeah, put that one on. There you go. It's way hot. His arginine vasopressin deficiency, that's the back side of his pituitary. So you have a back side and a front side of that little pea-sized organ. The back side is responsible. That is hot. No, that's cold. That's freezing cold. Turn it off, buddy. Awesome. The back side is responsible for your ADH, which is a hormone that makes you stop peeing.
Mom, why is the pathway warm medium?
That's medium. Can you guys hear me over the waterfall of that water? You can, right? Okay, so this is still a good lesson. So the backside of your pituitary produces a hormone called ADH. Your and I's body, there's this hormone that's released that tells our bodies, our kidneys, to hold the water that we have so that we didn't tell you be quiet real quick, pumpkin butt, so that we can use the water so that we can functionally live. I have to go away if you're going to be loud.
Mom!
What?
No,
okay, then stop. You gotta stop being loud though, bud. So our bodies are able to use the water. Wait, and John, let me finish the video, please. I can't go out there because I need to make sure you're staying safe in the bathroom. My life is a shit show, you guys. Okay, this is as far out as I can go because I need to be able to still see you. At least you guys can probably hear me kind of better. Okay, so for us now it's crooked too. That's great. Whatever. We gotta just deal with that, right? We stop peeing because our hormone for ADH tells our kidneys to hold the water and we can utilize the water. His body doesn't have that ability. So his backside of the pituitary was already damaged. It's called going dark. People have asked, like, well, is that going to repair? Does it go light again? It does not. I mean, I guess in a miraculous case, like straight from God in heaven, right? Then what, baby? Yeah.
Mom,
you can put on your butt as well. Go ahead and wash your butt and your hair. Excellent. Excellent. He's bathing himself. Now, then don't just brush your butt, skip your hair. So it will always be like that, right? He will always need medication, which is called desmopressin, which is what we're having a very challenging time with, which I'll share about in a second here. Where, hey, Jace, 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 will you come watch Whitten for 1 second? Whenever you're able to. I'm gonna get back up. I'm gonna get back up because this is so great. So his backside's not working. He'll be taking this desmopressin, which is just a little white tablet. He actually just chews them. They don't even taste bad. And he takes a varying amount every single day. Actually, let's just talk about that first because it just makes more sense. So here's what's wild, right? Most grown humans take maybe 1 to 2 tablets in a day and maybe the same at night. Whitten John's little tiny 36-pound body takes 7 to 8 at night, and then he takes 1 to 2 during the day. He's always had completely erratic desmopressin usage, like so much that we go in to see Endo, and they're just like, "Oh, you're those people." Like, what is happening here? We assumed it was because of the chemotherapy and all the drugs he was on, but since he got off of chemo and he's only on like 2 things right now, um, we thought it would just like be better, like right. We thought that it would just work. It still doesn't. So at night, what happens is he should stop peeing like we do, and he should not be extremely thirsty. But instead, he is still extremely thirsty, and he does not stop peeing. So every night he drinks like 15 ounces of chocolate lattes, water, like ice cold water. So we had to get up and get like ice cold water. We have a fridge next to our bed with the chocolate latte in it to keep him. Thanks, buddy. Watch this. We're gonna full on be able to focus. Thanks, dude. Um, room to room to room. Oh, and I'll even shut this. This will be great. You guys are like, we're out here. We can't even watch anymore. Okay, so he takes an extreme amount. It's just a lot. And it's a very varying amount. So every night he's waking up, he's drinking his 15 ounces. We have to wash the sheets. And it's not just like for a king size bed, it's for a king size bed plus a twin size bed plus pillows every single night, which means our washer machine is crashed. Like it's just ridiculous. We cannot buy enough pee pads that they work because you just keep washing them all the time. Anyways, we go to Estes Park like 3-4 weeks ago with Hope Kids, and his DI was horrible. He was up vomiting all night, like over the toilet vomiting. He couldn't figure out, he was like so dehydrated that he was trying to drink, but then he couldn't pee it out because of his medication, and he was just getting sick everywhere. And I'm assuming that the elevation change from 5,000 to 7,000 feet like had an effect. So then fast forward to last week, we go to Hawaii and we're at ground zero, right? We're at zero elevation. And literally his medication was like, it was pristine. It worked the entire time. We slept, I mean, aside from getting up like to have like one little small chocolate latte, we slept for 9 nights. It was the wildest thing. We didn't have to do laundry once, which is great because when you're in a hotel setting and the kid keeps peeing in the bed, it's kind of a pain in the butt for you and the hotel staff, right? It was crazy. It was so crazy. The first few nights we thought it was like an accident, but then it just kept happening and kept happening. And then I was praying that when we came home, it would like just still occur where he didn't like wet the bed. But the second we get home, he's going to bed and he's like, "Mom, I'm thirsty. I'm thirsty. I'm thirsty." He didn't do that once out there, right? So now he needs more ice cold water. He needs more milk. He pees through the bed. John Carroll's up with him all night long. I know, Kat, it's true. My mom's like, so does this mean you have to like move somewhere with zero elevation? Where are you guys going? I just don't think we can do that. But so we come home and instantly it's right back where it was. So I was really thankful that we had an appointment with Endo yesterday so we could talk about his diabetes insipidus or his AVPD management because it is lifelong. And to be able to not sleep through the night forever seems pretty ridiculous. Here's the challenge with it though. I was like, what research groups do we have available to us? Who are the specialists around the world who are working on this? And their answer was, we don't know of any. We don't know of any, right? They're working on diabetes mellitus. They're working on a lot on the thyroid, overproducing thyroids right now. but they're not focusing on ABPD because the Desmo pretty much works, and they don't really feel like they have to fine tune the medication anymore because, like you can't be medicated all the time. You have to have these things called breakthroughs where you still pee or it's dangerous for your body because you have to get rid of the toxins. So you have to like go from medicated to unmedicated to medicated to unmedicated every day and try to balance it. But in my eyes and in the world that we're in, this got diabetes insipidus group that we're in, there are these thousands of people whose lives are affected and are so challenging because you don't know how your medication is going to work, when it's going to work, how long it's going to work. It's going to change if you're stressed, if you're hot, if you're cold, if you sit in a hot tub, if you get, if you're sick, if you have diarrhea, if you throw up, if you go to higher elevation, if you go to lower elevation, you're consistently changing your medication. That's just what our life is going to be. Like that is just a part of what. Yeah, bud. He keeps saying he's done. That's fine. You can get out. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Betty. And that's just something that we can't avoid, right? So it's just a process of learning. So in talking to them about the irregular medication and what we're dealing with now and the like random, like he has these like random like barfs because his stomach is so full and it goes out the wrong way. We're just going to try some different type of medicating, some micro dosing in between, trying to keep him a different level of hydrated. And it's all a game of checks and balances. I have no clue what I'm doing. That's the answer. I have no clue what I'm doing. That's the whatever news. It just is what it is, right? The great news is that, so I just described the back of your pituitary, right? The little backside of your pea. The front side, the anterior pituitary, is responsible for a lot more hormonal functions. Right. Backside is also responsible for oxytocin, by the way. And the endocrinologists are just like, it's just oxytocin. That's for breastfeeding. He's a boy. He doesn't need that. But me knowing what hormones do and how good oxytocin is for your body, I just made sure I let them know, and I will at every single appointment, that I am very curious to know who is working on an oxytocin, hormonal supplementation for those feel-good hormones per the chance that develops at some point. That back part, right? So now we're going to anterior hormone or your anterior pituitary. It's responsible for your thyroid production through an assortment of things, right? So for your thyroid, hypo, all the different thyroid diseases that you could get. It's responsible for your growth hormone. It's responsible for your like sex hormones, your testes, your ovaries, your lectin, whatever it is. Your cortisol, the way that you respond to stress. Now, here's the wonderful thing. Buddy, you can't come in right now. You're not wearing the appropriate attire to come in here. Jason, good. He was actually covered. I love you, buddy. So he's growing phenomenally well. He's on the 70th percentile, and he got tiny after diagnosis. Like he actually lost 3.5 pounds, and like he grew this much the first like 6 months of his diagnosis. But now he's sprouted up and he's growing beautifully. And when your growth hormone works and your thyroid works, it indicates that the other things have not been hit. Cortisol is the most dangerous hormone to be hit because your cortisol is what is activated in order to protect your body in extreme circumstances. I think for a lot of us, we think of cortisol and just like releasing it for stress and how too much cortisol from too much stress can be damaging in your system. Or we think of it as like that fight or flight, like you got the cortisol where the mom can lift the car off the baby because that happens. That's a thing, right? But also, let's say that you were like in an accident and you had cuts and scrapes and your body is like it's damaged, right? Like my uncle who got hit by the bike last year, and your body's going into this like save this human mode. Cortisol is what regulates your heart rate. It keeps your body surviving and alive, moves everything around so that you are able to survive severe accidents. So that's really scary because if your body can't produce cortisol, then you would have to have like something with you at all times. Like, so if you got in an accident, there's like a bracelet or some sort of identification that I don't produce cortisol, and you've got to pump their body with it in hopes that you're there in time to keep them alive. That one comes after the others. Because he has the growth hormone that's working so well, we don't have to worry about any of that at this point, right? We just watch him to make sure that he's growing. And if he continues to grow at the rate he is, then we get to assume that his anterior pituitary, it's a lot of big words, is fine, which is freaking phenomenal, right? And results in so much less learning curve and challenges and we know all of it's overcomable, right? But to not have to endure that is just such a beautiful thing. Now, the other one is your testosterone. It's not like behind growth hormone and TH like the other ones. That's going to be right next to. So testosterone, that means that he could go into like really early puberty or not go into puberty at all, and they just have to watch for that. Again, the beautiful news is that if that occurs, he can take something either way to make sure that his body is regulated as it needs to be. So I thought it was a great appointment. You guys know, if you followed me for a long time, I've had a lot of like challenges. My most challenges with endocrinology, the communication, understanding, balancing him. I felt like I had nothing but loving support, understanding in Whitten's case, in our parenting, in moving forward. And now we just basically we don't have to do blood draws. He hates blood draws. We don't have to do any of that. We know that his sodium lies lower on a regular basis. All we do is see them in 6 months. We get our MRI and our rescans for oncology at 1 year. And then after that, we're just making sure he's growing and we're watching his testosterone. If his growth hormone's not hit, then that's it. And we try to learn how to manage his DI, his ABPD, and with the medication that we don't know what we're doing. But like grand scheme of things, it was just a really positive experience. And I'm so excited to share with you guys, on that note, where Whit and John is and our progress. If we moved to Hawaii, would it be easier to manage? I'm assuming so. But also he'd have to get used to the heat. That's one other thing that I did want to share. You guys that have been watching, he's out of footsie pajamas. I mean, he wears them at night. He's like, Mommy, is it jammy time? Is it jammy time? But he wakes up and he doesn't fight us. I'm just like, here's your clothes, bro. And he puts them on. In Hawaii, we had no idea if this kid was going to wear shorts because he wouldn't put on shorty shorts, as he calls them. He got down to the beach in his pants and his like long sleeve shirt. And he was like, Mom, I need my shirt off, because he still wanted to be out and playing with his brothers because he hates the sun. Usually he runs towards shade if it's hot at all. But it was cooler. It was the evening. It was like 5:30 and cooler, right? Like 70 degrees or whatever. And he took that off. Then he wanted his pants off. So he put his shorty shorts on and he actually swam like a normal little baby. He wouldn't even approach water before this. But he got in the pool. I mean, only like this deep, I think was the deepest, but he still did that. He sat, he played, he got in the ocean, he wore shorts, he wore t-shirts. He still won't wear like pants without a diaper. I think that's probably like a sensory thing, and plus he goes to the bathroom so much it's like weird for him. But like just so much growth. And today he said that he wanted to take a warm bath. He wants ice cold all the time, ice cold water to drink. He was laying on ice in the grocery store today. He wanted the ice cream next to him to hold him. He wants to take a cold bath, wash his hands in cold water. It's like this really weird thing that I think makes him feel more hydrated. But he's starting to find the comfort and the real, like, has having the realization that warm is not bad, right? As we're balancing him. So really cool freaking progress. I am so jacked about it. There's a lot of other crazy ass things going on in the world right now. And to be able to just pause and be so grateful for our journey in this and our education and our learning and our support is wonderful. I love you guys. Sorry that was so long, but that's what happens when you try to do a video and your kid's taking a bath at the same time. That's a horrible idea, Kelly, but I did it anyways, right? Hi, yay. I don't know if you guys have any other questions. I love educating about this. I'm going to continue sharing. It's just, I'm trying to figure out my whole gamut of how to share, where I'm able to support people the most. And I love your guys' feedback and input anywhere that you have that. So anything that you guys have for me, I appreciate you. Remember, whatever you're going through right now, because I know there's some challenging things going on right now, you will get to the other side. And I don't know how long that's going to take. I had no idea when we got our diagnosis. I thought it was going to be 2 months and then 3 months and then 6 months and 9 months and then a year and then a year and a half. And it's like it continuously was building on itself. But I keep seeing these consistent little periods of growth, and it's so heartwarming. And sometimes that's what the journey is like, right? Like you're in that valley, you're in that depth, and you need to climb up and hike up this mountain that's before you. And it's strenuous and it's challenging, and there's a lot of learning, but there's also a lot of growth that goes with it. And I feel like we've got our stride moving up that mountain right now, and it's a really beautiful thing. But we're on the other side a lot of the time, right? So I love you guys. Perspective reveals miracles. Thank you so much for following our journey. Light and love from my bathroom, office, guess, whatever I'm doing right now, to yours. All right. Bye, guys.